We started a series recently where we are watching through Mr. Who's the Boss building his house. We've already seen his gaming room. This one is now, he built the Dream Smart Living Room. Don't know what that means. Well, it's a living room, so we'll see. All right, here we go. I'm excited for these. I really like the first one. It's one of those like weird ones where I don't care too much about the tech, but the way he talks about it, I do. Because he's just so good at explaining it that I'm like, oh, okay, actually, well, suddenly I find myself really interested in subwoofers. Here we go.
Living room. We're going to spend the next 5 minutes finding the most cozy furniture, slick decor, and high-tech gadgets we
If he doesn't end up with the sofa that we have, he's wrong.
Possibly can, and then we're going to fuse them all together.
And by the way, anyone saying that we should watch a certain one of them, this is now a series. The videos are so good, I'm just going to watch every room, even if I don't care. Like, if he's doing the kitchen, I'm still going to watch it, because I love the way he makes the videos.
Where you can just chillax to the max.
Here we go.
So let's start with all the tech. To be honest, we don't even need to shop for this. I think we know what TV we're getting.
Yeah, it's got to be the frame.
Frame TV.
Oh.
Every time I see it, I never realize it's actually a TV until someone turns it on.
It does look shockingly like a real piece of art.
I've
And you
heard
can
mixed
change it. You
reactions
can have
about
art,
this.
you could have photos.
Okay, let's pull the trigger. Oof.
I've heard very mixed reactions about those. Like, I've heard they're sick, and then I've heard they're not, and then I don't know. I've actually never tried one.
Expensive start.
Okay, so speakers. We could do ceiling speakers. We could do like a sound bar across the bottom.
Do you know what I think? I think because this is like the room where you're going to want to just recline and get blasted by... What's a cool thing to listen to? I just feel like this is a really cool room to have like big, floor-standing, hi-fi speakers.
Bang & Olufsen, I'm curious what they would
Okay.
do.
Man, I normally feel like Bang & Olufsen gets it right with that.
It's the culmination of B&O's wildest
Sorry, did I
dreams.
just see that was 125 grand?
I feel like Bang & Olufsen gets it right with that.
It's the culmination of B&O's wildest dreams.
Nightmares. You've got Kef. They also
There's
make
no way
really, really
he's
good
buying
speakers.
one that's
oh, yeah, so
125
Meridian,
grand.
the same company who's doing the audio in our cinema room, they also have floor-standing speakers. Let me just go to the Meridian. Meridian natural nut and seed butters.
I've actually had those. They're really good.
Oh, Meridian audio. Okay, so you can go gloss black, satin white. Honestly, like these speakers are so expensive, but this has been like one of my dream things to own for a really long time. So, right after we filmed this buying section, we actually went to go check out this Meridian floor stander in person, and I fell in love. Not even just with the sound, but the engineering. Like, you see this separate head that you have for your higher notes. This thing is so isolated from the main body that I was able to balance a coin sideways while the thing was still blasting at full volume. So, we got them.
Okay,
Sorry, was it not 80k for one? Was it not 80k for one, not 80k for two? Hey, what up, Savage? 80k for a speaker. I know, that's what I'm saying. Admittedly, I do. Part of me does think that he had some sort of like partnership with them. I don't think he got it for free, but I do think there is a chance that he got some of it off because he also has promoted them in the last one. He looked at some here, and then he's gone like, you know what? I want these. Congrats on the announcement. Hey, love. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yeah, I think he got a discount, but I'm not sitting here saying, oh, he definitely just like paid nothing for that. I just think maybe he got like a 20% discount or something, which is still ridiculous. How come I can't play sound alerts? I don't know, but it might be because of they might not be on this scene. Like when I'm reacting, they might not be on there. I don't know. He has a sponsored segment every vid, but not in this vid. Yeah, so maybe it's because he couldn't because of that. I don't know. I'm not saying it's definitely like he got a discount. I'm just saying like I hope he did for his sake because that's ridiculous.
Lighting?
So we've tried quite a few different lighting systems in our old house. We've tried Govee, Nanoleaf, LifeX. The best one in my experience has always been Philips. Okay, so Philips Hue.
Yeah.
They're definitely very expensive for what
Like
they
that.
are. Every time you see one of their bulbs, you just think,
Oh, it's a
"My
different
God,
sponsor."
like $40.
What is it made of?
Yeah, what is it made of? Exactly.
Like, I know $40 for a bulb is wild, right? I know that is wild, but I feel like I would buy a $40 light bulb without even thinking about it if I just bought an 80 grand speaker. 2 80 grand speakers. I'll be back. Have to pay Talia a visit. Oh.
I think we want a couple of like, maybe in the corner here.
Oh, in the corners of the room, just kind of bleeding onto the wall.
Oh, that.
Oh, yeah. That's
I like
interesting.
those.
There it is.
And it's got wood.
Lol.
And
And it's got a wooden base. And it's got a high hefty price.
wow. They're such a good match for the room that it would be rude not to.
Yeah, I agree.
So table lights, there's actually quite a few different options. What are we doing?
I don't know.
Let's get some irises.
Light strips? Do we want any light strips underneath the sofas?
Under the sofa, I think makes a lot of sense. Give it that kind of floating feel. The only annoying thing about Philips is you then also have to buy a separate Hue bridge. It's a necessary evil.
I mean,
think that's what the lighting is.
I'll happily promote Philips Hue anyway. Like, all of these are Philips. This thing, by the way, you see this here, that box. It's the best. It is the absolute best. Like, that is also what I have here. Instead of having like box lights or any of those kind of lights here, I've just got that bar lighting me. I don't know. Yeah, it was part of the setup and stuff, but it was so. It's if you end up having a setup and you need to be lit well for a camera, this is what you want. Like, obviously, you guys have seen Josh's new setup, right? He has this light as well, and it's just it. Like, he'll agree. Like, it's just so sick. BK with the tier 3 for 5 years. Thank you so much. And Sprodgers, thank you for the 7 months.
What else do we
Damn.
need in this room? I was thinking some kind of really nice scent diffuser. So
I actually
found
don't
one
know
called
the name of
Hotel
it, but it
Collection.
looks like that.
Whoa. Our tower scent
it's built
diffuser
into the
uses
wall.
cutting-edge cold air diffusion technology. It's called Mist. So each of these oil refills is inspired by the scents in different famous hotels. Star Wars: The Empire.
So it's high-end hotels or smell like Star Wars.
What on earth? You can choose to smell like Jedi or Sith. Can you imagine in the movies, they pull out their lightsabers, they're like, what are you wearing? I think we should get the dark side. It's also buy one, get one 80% off, so I feel like that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, let's do it. What else do we need in this room? What are you thinking? Like, what is this room?
This
Oh,
room's
that's a
kind of like a
weird-
happy place, isn't it? You know, board games, books, Pokemon?
Well, we've been looking for a place to put all of the stuff we have. We have the Pokemon binders, the cards, the plushies. Should I bring the...
I don't know what you're talking about.
I want to see the sofa as well. That's one thing I really want to see.
A few moments later.
We have the plushies.
Oh, these are adorable. Let's get Pokemon into this room.
I'm actually on board. I think we could do it in a really nice, subtle way.
Or not subtle. Imagine if we had like a cabinet spanning that entire wall and it was just filled with just things that we find fun, like Pokemon. If you would like
See,
to look
I
for some
love the
Pokemon
fact that
stuff,
they
I'm
are
okay with
like,
that.
is the right word unashamedly themselves? Because you could make this room like, you could make it just so plain and, you know, there's nothing really to it. But if they're putting, you know, Pokemon plushies because they love Pokemon, I love that.
Oh, Pokemon Center.
That's what I'm going to find you doing.
I really like Warlord. It's a really cool Pokemon.
I'm
That's
on board.
weird.
I'm going to call your bluff.
Really?
Yeah.
Unapologetically,
So
yeah.
That's good.
Well, I was saying maybe this can be, you know, when Joe's does those montages. I think that's it now for stuff.
Okay, that's fair.
I wanna know how much they
Let's
spent.
do furniture. We found what looked like the perfect place online, but
Oh,
It's a good thing it's an interior design place.
The game plan for this visit was
Ah.
to leave with our dream sofa, coffee table, side chairs, and bookshelf all locked in. Right, time to bounce on some sofas.
Do you mind? Bye.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, no, that is not bouncy. Well,
But plenty were.
Oh, sorry.
After many bounces, we started to figure out what we wanted. We realized that a curved sofa was the best way of keeping people
Okay.
close together for both conversation and games. But
See, that's
also
a
that
nice
the
looking
material
sofa.
matters. With sofas, the two key types of cushioning are foam, which is cheaper, it holds its shape better, and it's firmer, and then feather, which really properly lets you sink in, but can start to look a little bit scruffy over time. After
Fair.
a lot of searching, though, we found
Oh.
one which was curved. It was made with foam, so it retained its shape, but it was really soft foam, so it almost had that plushness of feather.
Yes.
Yes.
Now we just needed some lounge
That looked
chairs
nice, to be fair.
accompany that sofa.
It's an instant +2 points if something swivels. I like swivel chairs. Oh my god, that's
I
actually
don't
really
know
comfy.
what I'm thinking of these.
And
I
it
want to see the
rotates.
chairs
It's
in the,
actually
in
really
the room.
nice, Rich. Try it.
And this was the moment we realized we'd just found our dream chair. We also found a coffee table that we absolutely loved. We initially came into this thinking that we wanted something higher, but having actually sat around these low tables, I could just see all of the amazing board game nights we could have gathered on the floor around something
They
cozy.
must, do you think they're looking at him like he's a bit of a weirdo? Like, I feel like most people just go in and look at like a table like that and kind of go like, oh yeah, I really like that. Yeah, it's the right size. Cool. He's sat underneath it like this with the gloves, with the camera.
Like this. Now we just have to put it all together. I sketched out where I wanted everything to go, adding in a massive rug as well that complemented the curve of the sofa, and also at this point realized that we'd basically just turned our living
Smiley
room into a
face.
smiley face.
Yeah.
What was very cool though is that the company then, in about 20 minutes, turned that little hand-drawn sketch into an actual 2-scale drawing featuring the exact sizes of all
That's
the
cool.
pieces we picked. All we needed now was a bookcase to finish it all off.
I mean, this is
Why did he just jog a little
basically
bit?
exactly what we've been looking for. Just
A little
like
jog.
giant Pokemon statues everywhere. Who needs board games and books?
They can have that whole wall like
what
that. That's cool.
colours do we go for all this stuff?
We're naturally bold color people, so this screams to me.
This face right here says it all. She asked me to try again, so I did.
We would probably pick something like
Bring in books and decor like this, not main pieces.
And you know what?
She's fuming. She's like, what have I got myself in for here? This is going to be some weird place. He is so himself. I love it.
This was good
I
advice.
love
Drisha and I are both naturally drawn
Because
to
I'm also the same. Like, I like things I like. I don't care if it's... Like, fair enough, you know, rooms do look nice when they all fit together and stuff, but so many rooms are just plain. Whereas I'm like, nah, have a little bit of like, make sure it's your room, you know?
very bright colours. But I feel like if we'd actually gone for the rainbow we initially came in looking for, our room would have lost a lot of sophistication. And there is one more benefit of keeping things a little more muted, which I'm coming to. We slowly saw this room come together over the next few weeks. First the sofa and the rug, then the cabinet behind, then honestly
Okay.
the best part was filling it. We have had so many things
See, that's
boxed up for
sick.
so
That's really
long.
sick.
You know, wedding gifts, games we've been wanting to play, and in one fell swoop we've been able to get everything out. And then we managed to get in a few extra additions, things we didn't realize we wanted initially, and things that we didn't even think we could fit into.
See, I really want one of these. They're just so ugly. Like, I genuinely think having one of these at home would be so nice, but they are just awful. Like, look at them. If they were easy to, you know, what you mean it's ugly? That is an ugly chair. It's a massage chair, yeah. I know its aim isn't to look nice, but it's just, I don't know. Where do you put
this
that?
space.
If it was
And that
easy to
leaves
like
us
wheel
with
out,
the
that'd be
final
sick.
product. Welcome to the living room. And instead of just going around and pointing at stuff,
See, I love it. I do think the massage chair in the corner, like I don't like that in the corner. The shelves are beautiful. The shelves look so sick. The sofa looks really sick. Table sick. Rug sick. The speakers I don't actually like. I'll be honest, I don't like the speakers there. I don't know.
I think the best way to show you just how cool this room is to show you the 4 key rules that we've made sure we followed and why those have paid
The
off big
TV on the wall as well is really cool, like the frame.
time. So this is going to seem like a really strange thing to say, but number 4 is neutrality. We first came into this thing wanting to plaster the entire room with a rainbow of bold colors. And if that's your thing, then you should by all means go for it. But the reason that I'm so glad we ended up keeping all the key pieces, the rug, the chairs, the sofas, all a little bit more reserved, is that we can re-theme this room whenever we want to. So you can see right now we've got a blue theme going on here, right?
Yeah.
Well, not anymore. All we have to do is to
I don't like
swap
it.
a
I don't
couple
like
plushies
this one
and
as much.
The whole mood of the room changes. And
I don't like the yellow theme as much. I feel like it looks off.
there's 2 pieces of tech that are making this retheming so easy. The first is the Philips Hue lights, for which we've got the 2 irises we bought in this cabinet.
They're cool.
We've got the floor standing lamp in the corner over there.
I like the floor standing lamps. In my head, I thought they'd be a bit like a bit of an eyesore, but you kind of don't even notice them.
Beneath the sofa, the Philips Hue light strip. And I've got to say, if you were just going to do
I
one of
really
these,
like
get
the
sofa
shelves.
lights. This one strip makes such a difference to the vibe of this room. I mean, it's mood lighting, while also elevating the design of your sofa. Literally. The thing half looks like it's floating. I guess because you would expect there to be shadow beneath that, so when instead you see light, it makes it look weightless. We found that the floor lamp is a little bit more situational. You need to have a corner that you can stick it into. You need to have matching walls so that it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. And you need to have a nearby...
Yeah, neon lights under a sofa is... Yeah, it doesn't... I don't know. This remained hitting for me. I'll be
plug
honest.
socket so that it doesn't create a mess. But do all of that, and I think it does add enough of a kick of color to be worth the hassle. The Philips Hue irises are somewhere in between the 2. I'd say they look just as gorgeous as I was hoping they would. And I also love
They definitely look better than the normal, the other ones.
They give you both lighting at...
You know the other ones that are shaped like that, but they look better than those. Fatal date for the 6 months.
eye level, but also lighting on the ceiling above you, which means that together with the lights underneath the sofa, you're kind of surrounded by whatever color theme we decide to go for. Only thing I would say is, given how much of a chungus this light actually is, it's not putting out a whole lot of light. It could be a little brighter. And again, so could I. And then the second part of this theming equation is the Samsung Frame TV. And having used this for a
I
little
want him
bit
to
of time
change
now,
the...
I have thoughts. So on one hand, when you think about it from an art perspective,
I want him to change the color theme again. I feel like the blue one, I was like, okay, I don't mind it, but then this one,
So the value proposition here is absolutely insane. You can very easily pay what this TV costs
The blue
for
was
one
better.
painting the size of this TV. Except if you go for this TV, you get unlimited art pieces that you can change up in seconds. Now, obviously, it's not exactly the same as discovering a quaint little art shop, finding a piece you absolutely love and learning everything about it, but if all you wanted to do was to display a bunch of JPEG images, then this TV does actually make those JPEGs look very much like real art, especially if you can find images that have natural brushstrokes in them. And it doesn't even waste a lot of energy. The thing actually has sensors built inside of it that are designed so that the TV displays art when you're in the room, and then it gets rid of the art and turns itself off when you're out of the room.
That's cool.
With, I would say, about 97% effectiveness. Not to mention, this is a full-on 4K TV with internet, with apps, with speakers, and it's quite a good TV at that. I was very much expecting compromised
Fair.
image quality, because that's what the early Samsung
how many
frames were.
thousands for the TV to display a picture though? Well, no, it's also, he's bought a TV for the TV, but then it also does have the photos too.
Like, but now we're
Or
at
the paintings or whatever.
2024 generation, it feels pretty flagship. The only real issue that I've had with it is with the Samsung SmartThings app that you have to use to
Is that
put art
fireplace
onto it.
underneath?
It feels quite buggy, and I've had nothing unfixable, but probably 4 to 5 times in the last few weeks where the app is not doing what I want it to. But overall, I would say this is an A+ tier product. Now, even more important than all the colors and the theming is, if we actually wanted to make this the perfect switch-off space, then
Okay.
how do we make it as relaxing and as fun as possible?
The chairs on the side, I don't like. I'll be honest. The chairs, the standalone chairs, I always think like it's a struggle to get those to be good because they don't. Like, I feel like if you sit on them, you're just so uninvolved. And also, the color of them doesn't really. I don't know.
So that's partly the obvious thing of just keeping stuff we like. So a big part of that for me is, as you can probably tell, all of this Pokemon stuff I've been collecting for the last 15 years. Pokemon gets
That's cool.
prime position in this cabinet. apart from Drisha, who's right here. This was a bunch of the stuff that I used for my proposal, which I still can't quite to this day believe we pulled off. We've got all of our favorite board games down here. There's a very early collection
green is definitely
of limited
better.
edition playing cards in here. And then also just generally, while we have filled most of the rooms in this house with sharp lines everywhere because it makes things look clean.
I think, you know what is really throwing me off as well? I think the plushies themselves, I love the fact that he is having things that he loves. But I just think the plushies just don't work, you know? Like, if you sit on a sofa, you don't want a plushie next to you.
With this room in particular, we wanted to make sure it was filled with curves because it makes it look friendlier. But then the other side to this
Yeah, in the
equation
living room,
is
it's just...
how do you create the systems to be able to have as much fun as possible? I know, organized fun. It's the best kind. So one thing that I'm very proud of is this. This is the Drisha Urn gaming leaderboard. So every single game we play together goes on this side, made with tiles from Scrabble, which is one of the games, by the way. And then we spent
That's
a while
cool.
trying to find the most bedazzled pins that we could use to represent each
That's
victory.
really cute.
So purple is her, blue is me. And we are uncannily close to 50-50 right now. But I think this is such a good idea. It adds...
No, they are 50-50. 4 in the top 2 for each of them, and then 1-1-1-1.
so much
That is
tension
really
to
cute.
everything you do together, knowing that there will be public humiliation when you lose. And then these frames going all the way across the wall are for our holidays. We spent about 4 years trying to figure out what souvenir we should collect when we go away somewhere. We
I like
love the
that.
idea of getting something, but it's just that for us, most mugs and fridge magnets just feel a little bit like clutter. So eventually we
I was going
decided...
to say, I collected shot glasses when I was younger. Then I started like little random bits. It's just so many are so shit. I like the photo idea.
Let's just immortalize the best photo we take, and that becomes our souvenir. And it's just really fun because it's like a sub-quest every time you're away on holiday, where you're trying in the background to get that banger photo, knowing that if we love it enough, there's a space for it. It's pillar number 2, though, where things start to get juicy. Convenience. How do you make the room as functional as possible and as easy to use as possible for people without making it look tacky? Step 1, hide some wireless chargers. I love having friends over, but having had friends over for many, many years, I've come to the realization that the average person doesn't think as much about bringing their charging cable with them as
Empty
us
frames
techies
on
might.
display on
And so
it. I
cannot tell you how
think
much of a
they're
relief it
okay
is.
when you've filled up the first few and there's like a common theme. I think if they just had empty frames, I agree. But when you can see, oh, these are their holidays and they're working on filling them all, I quite like it.
Instead of having to go to the
I think
top
it's nice.
floor and rummage to find a cable with the right connector, to now just be able to say, hey, pass me your phone, drop it on there, and done. Because yeah, each of these Pokeballs are actually 15-watt fast wireless chargers. Oh yeah, if you're wondering, by the way, how I've hidden the cables in this room, 2 things I would suggest. 1, get cables as close to the colors of your surface as possible. So for example, everything that's wired in this cabinet uses a black cable, and everything that's against one of the house walls uses white cables. And then 2 is these transparent sticky pads.
You put
This
pics in
might
all of
be
them and
the
just
OCD
change them.
part of my
That
brain
makes
talking,
sense.
But I absolutely love how these can make sure that your cables are running only in the very corners and crevices, and because they're transparent, they themselves practically disappear. I've shown you that we've got board games. What I haven't shown you is, well, how you can take the nerdiness to a whole other level. So wherever possible, we've actually bought 3D printed inserts to make sure that every piece inside has a place, both
That's
inside the box and also outside
crazy.
when you're playing. These drinks
That's
tables have been an
crazy.
absolute game changer.
But I love it.
I wasn't
Icon make
completely
for the
sure when we
year,
first
let's
got them,
go.
but having used them now, they
Yeah, I actually love the fact that they've got that. I might get some for my brother because I know he's got a bunch of games that he loves.
get used more than the main table because they give you the freedom to sit wherever you want to sit, to have a drink to hand, and also to not worry about spilling the thing. Because let me tell you, even though they don't look it, these bad boys are heavy. We have hidden an extension lead underneath the sofa in case you need to charge a MacBook. Although that is not encouraged in this room, and it will result in a formal
That's
warning.
cool.
But the single biggest game changer for convenience is something that you don't usually see. This is Homey. They're sponsoring this video, and from everything
Okay,
I've
makes
tested,
sense.
this is the most intuitive way to control your home. Because if you've ever tried to make your own home smart before, there's a very good chance you've also come to the realization that it's a mess. It feels like every other
Thing is,
one
when
of
it
these
comes to
smart
this
gadgets
room,
uses a
I'm just
different
kind of looking at it
communication
as like,
standard, and so they don't talk
When are
to
you
each
gonna
other,
choose to
but
actually
Homey
sit in
brings
here?
them all together into one app. So I've created
Only
an
board games
automation
for me.
called Fireside Mode. It took me less than a minute to do that, by the way. And when I tap this one command, the Philips Hue lights all change to orange, the room lights turn off. Very quickly, might I add. It turns
Nah,
on
because the TV, I get it, yeah, but he has like the nuttiest room for games and TV and stuff like that. So he'll end up
diffuser, which
spending
you'll notice
more
is a little
time there.
different to the one we first bought. That hotel collection one was great. You'd actually be amazed how great it smells on the dark side. But we started to realize that it was far bigger than it needed to be for this kind of space, and that its remote was the most fiddly, non-smart little thing that needed far too much manual control. So we swapped it out for the Rituals diffuser that's been a lot
Okay.
and also happens to look amazing in the Homey app. It even turns on the fireplace,
See,
which
that's
is
sick.
bioethanol, by the way, so it takes a second to get going. But if you are trying to build an indoor fireplace, it is the way to go.
That's
it doesn't
sick.
release any smoke, which is better for the environment, but also you. And then it also starts playing smooth jazz from these absolute
the
monoliths.
speakers,
All of
I
these
don't
different devices
know.
being controlled through, well, basically one button on one app is absolutely insane. And that brings me to the number one part of this room. The media experience. And there's more to this than just the frame
Like,
TV.
They just look a little bit too obnoxious. But especially when I hear 160 grand for two of them.
So first up, these are the Meridian DSP 8000
I'm sure they're
XPs.
unbelievable.
Let's just call them the Meridians. We spent so much time back and forthing on whether or not we should go for speakers of this insane value, but these have ended up lifting this room so much. I think, even from an aesthetic standpoint, these things look so cool. Just futuristic and
I mean,
yet
don't get me
also
wrong, if
really
that's what
clean.
he loves
But
the
it's
look of.
sound that is pristine. To try and
Very
paint
happy
a
for
very
him.
vague picture, the speakers that you have on the very best iPhones have about 3 watts of power. The speakers that we put into our biggest iPhone ever that were kitted out to the moon, those were 400 watts. These guys, 3,840 watts. These things have...
Like,
the
I'm
big-
looking at the room here and I'm like, get rid of the massage chair, get rid of the speakers, get rid of the solo chairs. I don't know what I'd replace them with, but that's... I like the rug, I like the sofa, I like the TV, I love the fireplace, and the back of the room, unbelievable.
base power of hi-fi systems genuinely 8 times their size. And it's so weird listening to them.
Like, that
because
looks
You're
sick.
sitting here and you're expecting to hear one,
Maybe not the
2
lights underneath
speakers.
either.
But what you're actually hearing is this all-encompassing surround sound because of how these things are designed to fire, well, actually most of their output sideways. But then this is the creme de la creme.
Yeah, it doesn't need these solo chairs. Like if this could have been just extended a little bit longer to like here, would have been perfect, and then you wouldn't need those two.
Of this room. So open up Homey again, tap movie mode, which is the second automation I've made, and 3 things happen. The Philips Hue lights go to 50% brightness and all turn red. The Samsung TV turns on and opens up Netflix, and the blinds come down. And honestly, the best part of Homey Pro
That's
is
pretty
that
cool.
it works locally without the cloud, all with energy monitoring insights and an entire community of users all making insanely cool things that you can do with your home products. So, these blinds, I spent a long time searching for the right blinds for this house, and we ended up going for a company called Luxaflex, which we got from CP Interiors. Because, obviously, when you bring your blinds down, it's going to reduce the amount of light coming in and the amount of glare on your screen, but these things also have really good
Does he
acoustic
live in
properties.
England?
So one part of that is reducing the amount of outside noise that comes in, but the other part of that is when you're sitting here watching a movie, reducing the amount of inside noise that hits it
Yeah.
and gets reflected back at you. It's enough of a difference that even someone who's not completely dialed into audio quality can straight away tell there's much less echo and
Damn.
the sound is way more precise. And now, while the sofas
Yeah, he's
are
made
cool-
it so much of like a movie night. Like he could turn it into him having his own movie night. But like, he's got a cinema that's like the most nuts thing in the world.
All in all, this has to be the greatest seat to sit and watch TV in. So long story short, about 2 years ago, my mum was having some back pain. So after a lot of research, I found a massage chair from this company called Wayron. We thought it was absolutely insane. And then just as we were putting this room together, we realized the same company had released an upgraded model called
Oh
the Grand
my
Presidential
days.
that also happen to perfectly match the neutral color profile of everything else. And I genuinely think that this is the greatest massage chair on the planet.
I
It flips you
really
into
want
complete
one.
zero gravity. It massages almost every part of your body, from your neck to your toes. It even
The
comes
two
around.
speakers are more than half the price of that theater. Oh my days. Yeah, I really want a chair like this. I just don't know where I would put it. Like, what? I don't
To do
know.
your shoulders. It's got built-in heating.
They're
It's got
ugly. That's why I'm saying I don't know where I'd put it.
140 airbags for compression. You got a privacy hood, LED therapy. And
Put it
even
in your
built-in
gym. It's just,
speakers.
nah, it's
Although
just not.
we won't be using those for obvious reasons. And because the thing doesn't just recline, but actually rotates on its axis, it actually takes up way less space than we thought it was going to. You know, pretty much the entire time when people are over at the house, we lose someone, and then we
Instead of the
realize 10 minutes
sofa.
later that it's because they're sitting in this chair. And that is the dream living room.
Like, that
I'll catch you
is-
during the week for normal tech videos, and then again
I'd
on the
love
weekend
to
for the
have
next
one.
episode in the
It's
house
just
series.
not.
Bye.
We all know it's not nice to look at, that is it? But I would love to have one. It's just such like a, I don't know. I feel like I would actually use that quite a lot. 15K for an egg. It was down to 7. That one. It's so ugly, but would feel so worth it. Yeah. See, like maybe I should have that in that area instead of the sofa, because I might actually use that. I don't know. Anyways, love the video. Gonna give that room a. I'm gonna be harsh. I'm gonna give it a 6. I'm gonna give it a 6. I think the gaming room he did is a 10. 10 out of 10. That one I'm gonna give it a 6.